The yield curve inverts, Powell is going to raise interest rates, and a recession could be in the future. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. Joe Warbeck coming at you. And just this past week, we saw the 2-year Treasury rate actually be higher than the 10-year Treasury rate, which means the yield curve, which usually shows shorter term interest rates are lower and longer term interest rates are higher, has actually inverted and turned upside down, where shorter term rates for a few seconds went a little bit higher. What does this mean? This means that we could see a recession within the next 2 years, not in the next 2 months, not in the next month. The official definition of a recession is when 2 GDP quarter returns are lower than the previous GDP quarter return. It doesn't mean that jobs are being lost. It doesn't mean the stock market is crashing. It doesn't mean the economy is collapsing. It just simply means that GDP production is falling and not rising. So could we have a recession? Of course. Does it mean we're definitely going to have a recession? No. And on top of all this, we have Powell, who is pushing to slow the economy. Just this week, he came out and said he is going to raise interest rates 50 basis points or 0.5%. And he is doing this not because he wants more jobs, not because he wants the economy to continue to grow. He actually wants the economy to cool off. He wants the economy to slow down. So we have Powell pushing to slow the economy down. We have interest rates inverting. This means that we're probably going to see the economy cool off a little bit. I don't think this means the economy is going to crash. I don't think this means we're going into a depression, but we will see things start to slow down. Now, Powell says these things in hopes that he doesn't have to actually do them. He comes out and says, we are going to raise interest rates by 0.5% in hopes that the economy begins to slow, in hopes that inflation begins to pull back so that he doesn't have to actually raise the rates. In May, if things have not turned around, he will raise the rates 50 basis points. But is this bad? No, this is not bad. Actually, getting interest rates back up to 2 to 3% is a very long-term positive for this economy. 0% interest rates are not good for anyone out there. We need to have rates normalize, go back to the way they were, between 2 to 3%. Now, while the markets are freaking out over this, and we saw 2 down days in the markets always price in what they think is going to happen in the future. That means that they're pricing in the downturn now, so if they actually do lower rates by 50 basis points come May, the markets probably won't react because they've already priced that in. Talked about all the negatives, but let's talk about the positives. Number one, we still have over $5 trillion of cash just sitting on the sidelines that have to be invested back into this economy. Number two, unemployment is at one of the lowest rates it's ever been at, 3.6%. This is huge. This is good. This means people are making money. That means they have extra money. Yes, inflation is peaking around 8%, and this is the highest inflation we've seen for a while, but we do not see inflation growing by another 50 or 100%. Inflation could go up by another 0.5%, but we are seeing it slow down. We are seeing signs that it could be reversing, and when that occurs, we will see this economy continue to grow. On top of all this, the ERTC credit, which was basically a bailout for businesses during COVID, is about to pay out to millions of businesses across the country. So businesses are about to come into a lot of excess cash, which is good because we're seeing loan rates, we're seeing the cost to borrow money go up. So while Powell is pushing to raise interest rates, to slow down economic growth, to make money more expensive, at the same time, the government is pushing more and more money into the system through these ERTC credits. So I don't even know if what Powell's going to do is going to have the effect he was hoping in terms of slowing the economy. It is freaking out the markets, and the markets are beginning to pull back. It is negatively affecting mortgage rates. We've seen those hit over 5%. However, that doesn't mean that housing is about to collapse. I know there are a lot of people out there listening right now who have purchased homes at a much higher rate than 5%. We know back in the 70s and 80s, when people were still buying homes, we saw interest rates hit 12, 15, 18%. And we have such a pent-up demand for people to buy houses. There's 100 million millennials out there who need to move somewhere. So I don't see housing continue to grow at double digits, but I don't see housing collapsing. I don't see the GDP continuing to grow at 4 or 5%, but I don't see it falling to zero. I don't see the stock market continuing to grow at 15-20%, but I don't see it crashing either. Interest rates going up is a positive. Unemployment is positive. People having enough cash on the sidelines is positive. There are a lot of positives out there. Inflation is a negative. We don't like it. It's not good, but it's getting under control. The one bright spot for the inflation that we're seeing is we will probably see the largest increase in Social Security this country has ever seen this September. We could see a 7 to 9% increase in Social Security, which is huge because when inflation comes back under control, everybody out there, whether you're retired or not, you get that increase in your pay. If you're receiving Social Security, you get it now. If you aren't receiving Social Security, it's built into your future income, so you're receiving it. So that's a celebration. That's a positive. Am I as bullish about this stock market as I was 6 months ago? Definitely not. Do I think we're going to head into a deep recession or depression right now? Definitely not. I don't believe that. However, markets are going to continue to be volatile. If you watched my video a few weeks ago, I told you to buckle in, put on a helmet, put on some crash pads, because this market is going to be volatile for a while. I mean, heck, we're seeing 1% and 2% swings on a daily basis. We have to get through this. There are a lot of bright spots out there. I'm excited about what is to come, but it's going to take some time to get there. Check back every week to see what's going on. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Leave a comment down below. Turn on the notification bell if you want to be notified when I post new videos, and I'll see you all next week.